Real progress is impossible without change, yet so many of the players in the blockchain space, from the VCs, crypto communities, mainstream media, YouTubers or social commentators, all the way through to development teams responsible for some of the largest projects, display a distinct lack of acceptance towards new ideas, new visions, or a new way of approaching development. Evidently, there is a complete lack of substance behind the narratives formed throughout the blockchain industry, with baseless claims, soundbites, and throwaway comments being bandied around on an almost daily basis, often targeted at Cardano, its community, development rollout, and for many are accepted as fact. This lack of substance in blockchain has become far too common. Narratives and misinformation is becoming normalised and regurgitated on repeat. But you'll never change things fighting the existing reality. To change something, you must build a new model that makes the existing ones obsolete. When you survey the entire landscape, the one thing that sticks out to me, above all, is that when it comes to change, vision, innovation, and transparency of information in blockchain, Cardano is that new model, and full of substance. Welcome back for today's installment of Cardano Insights, where we track the all-important developments at the very pulse of Cardano and its ecosystem each weekday. So let's get straight into it. Have you noticed a theme with these largely Ethereum-based biased crypto podcasts? They all have something in common. They bring on guests ranging from VCs, Ethereum or Solana developers, and/or generally crypto commentators, all with misinformed Cardano narratives. And as they babble on a ton of nonsense, they each sit there nodding their heads smirking, as each of them take turns in bashing Cardano. So this weekend we got a classic example that when it comes to crypto YouTube, VCs and supposed market leaders of professional crypto research, we really are living in a clown world. The item we're going to take a look at today serves as a perfect example of why I believe Cardano indeed is getting far more traction than the naysayers and VCs would like to admit. In the latest episode of Crypto Banter, which has 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, the hosts welcome Ryan Selkis, who you'll know from Masari, Haseeb from Dragonfly Capital, and Avichal from Electric Capital. Amongst the topics in the podcast, the one we're going to focus on was labelled in the timestamps Cardano Banter, where I quote, "They address the elephant in the room." I always love hearing Cardano referred to as the elephant in the room, which in itself is rather telling, as it's referring to an obvious or major problem that people commonly avoid discussing or acknowledging. I also love how these channels love playing off Cardano hate or misinformation as banter. I think that speaks volumes for the lack of true conviction they have in the claims being made. So the host, after introducing the Cardano segment, claiming his viewers want the guest opinions on Cardano, he was pressed first to give his. To his credit, he did state that he recognises the different approaches taken by the three largest smart contract platforms, in that we've seen the move fast approach with Ethereum, and the problems faced with trying to make wide-scale changes mid-flight. We've seen the Solana approach, in effect launching on a testnet, and Cardano represents the third slow, methodical, academic approach, acknowledging that we're still very early in the so-called race amongst these blockchains. Here's however where it gets problematic. The host goes on to say that his concerns with Cardano is that he doesn't see any VC money, there's limited developer activity, and doesn't see projects that are being built by what he calls the big brains in blockchain. This is a particularly short-sighted analysis. Firstly, Cardano by its very nature has always and will continue to strive to become a self-funded ecosystem through Project Catalyst. The lack of VC funding, in my opinion, says a lot more about the VC mindset and Cardano's strategy. The fact that we have Catalyst, the first of its kind and largest decentralized funding mechanism, in the long run makes VCs redundant in this ecosystem. The comparison made regarding developer activity is also misinformed. Cardano is at a completely different stage as an ecosystem as the chains that you chose to compare to. With smart contract functionality still only 11 months in existence, you only have to do minimal research on GitHub to understand that Cardano is the most developed blockchain, with a developer community constantly learning, adapting, and growing as the ecosystem takes shape. To make the claim that he doesn't see what he calls the big brains building on Cardano is laughable. The Cardano ecosystem is full of big brainers, from the labs and researchers writing peer-reviewed papers, developers at IOG rolling out the tech, to all of the teams building amazingly innovative protocols and tooling throughout the ecosystem. Check out the teams behind World Mobile, Maladex, Liquid Labs, ADA Finance, Jed, ADAL, Ardana, Genius Shield, the builders at DC Spark and Endmaker to name but a few. The list goes on in this respect. So many contradictive statements. On one hand, Cardano is all academic rigor, but on the other, there are no big brainers in its ecosystem. With what we have in store post-Vassal, heads are certainly going to be turned blockchain-wide. Up next was Ryan Selkis from Masari. He made the claims that the interest in Cardano is low because nothing is live on Cardano. He states crypto being very tribal is what accelerates growth as the tribes build applications. In his opinion, when conducting analysis through Masari, he doesn't see the heat map going towards Cardano, which I think he was referring to VC funding. Maybe this explains why Masari are constantly responsible for omitting Cardano from major reports, another example of which was demonstrated this weekend. In a report issued on the state of Solana, Cardano was omitted in the metrics, assessing Solana against, and I quote, other top letter ones, which did include Ethereum, BNB, Avalanche, Polygon and Phantom. Then Avichal from Electric Capital gave his take. He stated, I don't understand Cardano, so can't comment. I just want a wallet to connect it and do stuff with it, and I can't do this with Cardano. Need I say more? These people are so wrapped up in their Ethereum world, they really are oblivious to the progression made from a user's perspective and the applications already available in the Cardano ecosystem. This ignorance to Cardano being an inactive ecosystem is a direct byproduct of the relentless misinformation that spread far and wide across the blockchain industry. Finally, we come to the star of the show, Haseeb, whose comments did cause a large reaction from the Cardano community. He made the claim, smart money doesn't think about Cardano, they don't investigate it or spend any time researching it. So here he is identifying the main problem. The so-called smart money is so smart, they don't research Cardano. How can you form a worthwhile opinion without investigating something thoroughly? I mean, I've thoroughly researched Bitcoin, Ethereum and Solana. It's this very research that's made me even more convicted on Cardano and its fundamentals. But this is the part that I think sums up the VC mentality and persona perfectly. He stated, if you're a retail investor, you have to ask yourself, why are all the super rich, powerful and extremely attractive people saying they don't think about Cardano? What is going on in their world to have this opinion? It's a combination of tech and religion. Cardano has religion, but not tech. Why in Cardano is there so much more belief than there is tech? People are talking more than the role it actually does. So some pretty bold claims here, many inconsistencies and further contradictions, highlighting just how confused the VC crypto YouTube narrative has become. On one hand, Cardano is far too slow to market, applying all its focus on peer-review driven tech. Then on the other hand, has no tech at all, and just a religion. But apparently, tribes build applications and ecosystems. Cardano's is just a large tribal religious community with no tech and nothing being built. This is a combination of lack of understanding, protecting their own investments, and in turn remaining ignorant to what's actually occurring in Cardano's ecosystem and the stage that we're at in terms of the development progress against the roadmap. See, when VCs make comments like this, I think it's very revealing. When we think about the deal flow coming through to these VCs, because they're unable to get the same exposure on Cardano to that in other ecosystems, the level of intel they have on the ecosystems they operate in is far greater than their understanding of what is happening in Cardano, and therefore form these baseless opinions. For the retail investor, listening to these statements by VCs and content creators is actually very damaging, as in their perception, it's coming from intelligent, expert and experienced individuals who in actual fact don't seem to have any real knowledge on Cardano at all. What many fail to understand or accept, which I've highlighted many times before on this channel, Cardano is playing a totally different game. Not a VC market pump game, but rather true value delivered through utility. Cardano's mission differs vastly from that of what we see on any other chain. To question the tech, or to understand the innovation present in Cardano, is to first understand that what IOG is building here, as a project, is a mission critical one. If you solely look at Cardano in its form that it is today, then you're totally missing the point of Cardano altogether. The innovation in Cardano is what's under the hood. There is no other team in the blockchain industry building software as if it were being built for NASA or of military grade quality. But if you're looking for innovation when it comes to the tech that's currently in play, the most important part of any cryptocurrency is its consensus. Cardano is the most solid consensus layer in all of crypto. Ouroboros is the first provably secure proof-of-stake protocol, which improves on security guarantees of Nakamoto consensus while consuming a fraction of the energy that Bitcoin does. Its proof-of-stake protocol has been running non-stop without restarts for over 2 years with decentralized validators, and delivers true liquid staking with no lockup period or slashing. Now think Ouroboros Laos, which we've covered in a previous video. This would enable Cardano to greatly increase scalability without sacrificing decentralization. What's more, Cardano and IOG have the team actually capable of delivering this feat of innovation. Built into the architecture of its design, Cardano doesn't have failed transactions, and with deterministic fees, completely removes the risk of losing funds. Unlike any other chains, Cardano has the unique ability to create, interact with, and delete tokens natively without the use of smart contracts. The extended UTXO model enables hundreds or even thousands of tokens or payments to be made in a single transaction at a fraction of the cost that would be possible on Ethereum, for example. This makes Cardano highly efficient and cost-effective. Its hard fork combinator is unlike the traditional forks of a blockchain, meaning there is no stop-start or birth of a new version of the protocol, but more of an era combination of blocks. That's why that when these events take place on Cardano, from a user's perspective, it's smooth as if nothing's happened, massively reducing many of the risks associated with hard forks. So many criticise Cardano for its meticulous peer-reviewed approach. However, it's this process that spawned the very technological innovations that are currently present and will continue to evolve from as the roadmap gets rolled out. You could argue this approach to blockchain architecture is innovating in itself. Several blockchains have implemented technology off the back of IOG's research papers, and I'm sure this will continue to be the case. So to close this off, I think the main issue for many outside of the Cardano community is they don't actually understand the roadmap and the fact that we're only just entering the scalability era. Many hold the opinion that the current number of active users on a chain will determine its long-term adoption. Yet in terms of adoption, we're so early in terms of real-world traction, using any current user base as a metric is basically irrelevant. Today's users don't define or indicate the number of future users. What is going to determine this is what blockchain can deliver the most secure, scalable, decentralized, and accessible system. If that's what we're looking for and looking to achieve, the strategy that's going to have the best chance in delivering this is the one built off the back of objective, peer-reviewed science. And seeing all the difficulties the first movers are now experiencing, it would seem this approach is the most likely to come out on top. Anyway, I didn't want to have to spend an entire video addressing something that we all know is prevalent in the blockchain space, but got a little carried away as sometimes clown world just needs to be addressed. I'll be sure to steer away from this topic for the rest of the week, as unfortunately it's everywhere and consumes a lot of time that could be better spent focusing directly on Cardano developments. I had far more Cardano updates and topics that I wanted to cover today, but they'll be sure to feature throughout the week. So that's it for another installment of Cardano Insights, as we keep track of the ecosystem and continue to spread those positive Cardano vibes. If you found value in the content, then please be sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also want to say a big thank you to everyone so far subscribed. This weekend Sapien passed 1,000 subscribers and couldn't have done it without you all tuning in each weekday. We'll be back tomorrow with your daily roundup, and until then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, keep it Cardano.